So here we are, Cristina. If you'd like to introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, first of all, I'm Cristina Marangoni, and I'm specialized in line work. I have about 10 years of experience now, and that's about it. Let's say I've always had more or less a good flow of clients, and I've always promoted myself in my own way as much as I could, as much as I knew how, through social media. But clearly over time, I started to notice a decrease, right? A decrease in this flow. And so I started to wonder if there might be other ways, other options to consider. And that's when I got to know Ink Media. So I reached out to you, and I have to say I'm super, super happy because in just a month and a half, I've already achieved great results. I've also learned a ton of things, by the way.
Great, really great, absolutely. And if I may ask, could you tell me a bit more specifically about your starting situation, maybe in terms of education, the goals you had set for yourself, not just financially, but also in terms of personal satisfaction, positioning, and so on?
Well, in terms of goals at the beginning, I was mainly thinking about filling up my schedule a bit more because at that time, which was a bit slow for me, I only had a couple of weeks worth of appointments lined up. So when I first got started, my initial expectation was that I would probably fill up my schedule for about a month or so, and that I'd be balancing a lot of client work with my own projects. But honestly, I've been very pleasantly surprised because the demand has grown so quickly that the wait time has already extended out to 2 full months, and it's only been a relatively short time, maybe a month and a half or 2 months at the most, since we launched. And now I've reached the point where I'm practically only doing my own projects. So line work, fine line, micro realistic, everything I like. And so the sense of satisfaction has really increased.
Yes, I remember during the consultation, you specifically told me the first time that the goal, putting aside the financial aspect, which we'll talk about in a moment, but
Of course.
since you are the owner of the studio along with other people, your goal was to dedicate yourself as much as possible to your own styles.
Exactly.
And to reduce the waiting time, exactly. Let's say that in a month and a half, as you said, we've gone from about 2 weeks to 2 months. And it's also great that you're getting more and more requests, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong, specifically for your style. You've probably also noticed an increase in your positioning with your audience, meaning they treat you in a way.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. And that's actually the thing that surprised me the most because when clients write to me, they write almost as if I were a superstar, in quotes. And it's really nice because it means that both my personality comes through, which is something I've always wanted to bring into my work because I love that. The fact that it comes across. And then, really, on a professional level, that I am recognized as such after all.
I agree, I agree. And this is fundamental even from a financial perspective, because as we always say,
Exactly.
from the bottom up, if we see someone who isn't at least on our level, the money doesn't move. So that's great. And speaking of money, if you want to share, if you want to talk a bit about numbers,
Of course.
where did we start from? And in a month and a half, what results have we achieved?
So we started from about 3 to 4,000 in income, and now after a month and a half with you, 15,000. That's something I absolutely did not expect. Our goal was 6,000, maybe. I don't even remember anymore.
If I remember correctly, you wanted to double your income within the 3 month program. Let's say that.
Exactly, exactly. But instead,
I'd say not bad at all. Now let's keep our heads down, push even harder, and
of course, then another thing I'd like to mention is that my mindset has also changed a bit when it comes to, well, to money. It's something that we tattoo artists usually tend to undervalue, pretty much all of us, but now I give much more value to my time.
you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. I agree with you also about the fact that many tattoo artists and so on, because I think we don't really give enough attention or importance to money. Of course, it's not the most important thing, but obviously, if we're doing business, it's fundamental to give
Exactly.
the right importance and the right attention, perfect for everything. Again, now the next step is to go even further. And if you had to say something to your colleagues, not necessarily competitors and so on, but what would you recommend? What would you say about us, about Ink Media?
Well, that is in fact something that I already do quite often with my colleagues. I am genuinely and strongly encouraging them absolutely to feel comfortable relying on you without any hesitation at all. This is because, to be perfectly honest, what you do is not some form of magic. Ultimately, at the end of the day, you are dedicated professionals who have formally studied and trained for the specific work that you're doing. So it stands to reason that you can provide us with the appropriate tools to help make our work something significantly more effective, correct? in fact, to really experience it to the fullest and make the most of it as it deserves.
I completely agree. Thank you for your time and for the interview, and we'll see each other.
Thanks.